Hi everybody, I'm Ash.
And I'm Joe, and welcome. In today's video, we're gonna try and lay out a case as to why you should invest and sort of try and drive the point as to just start. Because once you start, you can get going. You might not know what to do, you might not know where to start, you might not know, you might be like thinking, you're gonna lose money, this, that, and the other. And that's the wrong mindset to have. You just need to start.
You do. Unfortunately, investing is like eating Pringles. Once you pop, you can't stop.
Yes. So
And it is scary. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I've not been in it for a long time, but that initial starting off, it was a little bit scary. But
it is.
I
It
mean,
is.
as you go, as long as you put the time aside to do your own research, yes, by all means, listen to other people's advice, look at YouTube videos, read whatever you can, but just make sure you do your own research. It doesn't have to be very technical. We're not all flipping spreadsheet warriors, but you can make it work.
Yes. So part of my inspiration, believe it or not, was I saw a speech or someone talking about a speech that one of the Nike salesmen did back in the day when they started the slogan of just to do it. And they basically set out in the room that Nike is for the people who wake up at 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, go running. People that no matter what the weather, no matter what the circumstances, they get up and they do what they need to do. They go and do the exercise, and that is the people that Nike was for. And I'm
Yes.
not explaining it very well. I've tried to find that video again to play for us here, but I couldn't find it in time. Um,
Basically, what comes down to is put your big boy pants on, get on with
Basically, yes,
it.
yes. So that's where I change it slightly and say, just start. Just start creating your accounts, start setting things up, deposit a small amount, 50 quid, 100 quid, whatever it is that you're comfortable putting in.
Yes, whatever it is you're comfortable with losing.
Yes,
Not that you will necessarily, but
not, yeah, but
case still stands. If you can't do without the money, you shouldn't be investing.
yes,
And if you're going to do it emotionally, stay away from it.
exactly. And after you need to use money that you don't need for anything. So you should have had paid everything that needs paying in your monthly cycle, in your monthly bill. Anything after that, if you have anything left over, then yeah, you can take some percentage of that and invest it. But you need to be willing to know the fact that you're not going to have access to that money for at least 10 years. You put it in and you forget about it. Not you won't forget
Yes,
about it, but you don't think of it as your money. You think of it as that is your retirement fund.
I was about to say that is the best way to think about it. You're not
Yes.
going to touch that money until the day you stop work.
You're not looking to sell anytime soon. You need to look 10, 20 years from now.
That's it. And also remember, you can only lose money if you sell.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so
So
right
if
now,
you're in the right stocks, yes, things will go up, things will go down. Sometimes it will look like you're losing, but give it a few months and the tables will turn as long as you do your own research.
yes,
Again,
well, few months, few years. Right now, we're in a very big down cycle. My overall portfolio is down nearly 40%. But as Ash said, unless I sell that, I haven't actually lost the money. So
you haven't lost money.
you just wait it out until it's profitable again, and then if you need to sell, then you sell. Otherwise,
Yeah,
you're
and
losing money. Don't lose
what
money.
I've also done is I've got my normal investment account, and then I've got my crypto account. And funny enough, as these things work, when your normal investment account goes in the red, your crypto will go green. For some
Yes,
reason, it just works that
yes,
way.
it does. Oh, it's brilliant.
And then when it flips, it goes the other way again. But it's getting that frame of mind to just like you say, forget about it.
Yes, forget
Don't
about it.
sell it. Don't do anything about it. Yes, okay, you've put 200 quid in and you are now 150 quid down. Don't worry.
Yes. Um,
Don't start panicking. Don't sell because that's when you lose money. That's when you make mistakes.
yeah. The other point I want to make is if you don't have anything left at the end of each month, if you're kind of like how I used to live, where you would just spend your money, you wouldn't keep track of it or anything like that. And then you basically live paycheck to paycheck, you know. Um,
Yeah, but again, once you start investing, that will change
it,
because I was very similar to that, to be honest with you. And then I started investing, and then all of a sudden, there's the saying that goes around: what gets tracked gets managed.
yes,
And I've gone from living like that to I've got a spreadsheet. If I spend £2 in the shop, it goes on the spreadsheet. I can literally open it up. I don't have to go into my bank account. I can tell you exactly what I've spent over the last whatever period.
yeah,
It's all in a spreadsheet
yeah,
and it's all set out. And you'd be very surprised how much money you can
waste,
save yourself once you put that all on a spreadsheet that you created. Don't look at your bank account because
yeah,
it doesn't put it in
perspective.
proper order for you. You create that spreadsheet and you look, okay, this week I've spent X, 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 X. And well, hang on, why? I could have done that, this, there. And that way you make money available.
Yeah, you learn what your bad habits are, what your bad spending habits are, and you learn to change it. So,
Yes.
uh,
But again, just looking at your bank statement, you won't see it. It doesn't put it out in the same format.
yeah. So I've wrote something here that I just want to run through. So if you don't have anything left at the end of each month, instead of going out for your fourth pub meal, or instead of going out with friends every weekend, maybe skip one. Maybe drink 20% less alcohol for people who are heavy drinkers, or smoke 10% less cigarettes. Make a small sacrifice. I'm not saying giving it up altogether, but just do,
Don't have to give anything up. Just do everything in moderation.
yes, just do a little bit less. And stuff that's not completely necessary for you to survive. You need food, so don't skimp out on food. Don't not buy food in order to invest. That's not worth it.
No, that's silly.
Exactly.
Can't be doing that.
So I'm sure if you think about it, there is something in your life that you waste money on that you could just cut down on. And
Oh,
then
most definitely, yeah.
and then if you take that money, say from that one thing, item or event, and you deposit that into your investment account, this is how you start. This is how you do it. Just do it. Just start. This is honestly one of my biggest regrets in life is that I didn't start earlier.
Oh yes, most definitely. If I knew then what I know now, it would have been a whole different scenario.
Yes. So I'm just going to pull up a little spreadsheet, which is usually what I try to use to convince people. I hope I'm zoomed in enough. Looks like it. So this is just a little spreadsheet to try and explain how compounding interest works. Okay, so let's say you're a heavy smoker. Are you going to connect now? There we go. So I'm just going to do some math on a calculator. I'm not going to do it on a spreadsheet. What is the average amount of cigarettes that a person smokes?
I don't know, call it a pack of 20 a day.
Okay, so 20 cigarettes a day. How much does a pack of cigarettes cost?
I don't know. I've stopped smoking cigarettes a long time ago.
Well, I did manage to go research that. In the UK, the average cost of a pack of 20 is £12.60. So,
Wow.
yeah, so 20 cigarettes times £12.60 means it's costing you 60 something pence per cigarette that you're burning away.
Mhm.
You're basically literally burning money. Okay? Sorry, I did the math wrong there. So £12.60 a day times 30 days, we'll just average it out to that's 378 a month. So if you cut away a third of your cigarette intake, so instead of smoking 20 a day, cut down to 12, you could save 100 a month. Yeah?
Yes.
So let's go, yeah. So at 100 a month times 12, that's an investment of 1,200 per year. Yeah?
Hmm.
So if you invest 1,200 a year, every year, after 20 years, you will have invested 24,000. After 20 years, you will have smoked away 24,000 if you kept on smoking at the rate you were going. That that is a massive eye opener for a lot of people. Now,
Yeah.
what is your average percent return? So if you look at the S&P 500, you're looking on average, and there's been some years where it's been less, some years where it's been more, but you're looking on an average of 8%. So if you take 8%, then you do compound interest, you're going to add 8% to 1,200 here, and it's going to go a little bit more. So at the end of the year, your value is going to go up. But where compound interest comes in is next year, you start on the higher value, and it grows by another 8%. So the interest gains interest. So you gain interest on interest, and that's what compounding interest is. And that means that your 24,000 after 20 years will have earned you an additional 35,000. Bear in mind that if you're not in a slump like we currently are, we're currently in about a 2-year downturn. So you might lose 2 years in between, so that might lose about 5k or something.
You can look at it in two ways. It's either a 2-year downturn or it's accumulation time.
Exactly. Now, let's say you decide to cut away a third of your cigarettes and a third of your alcohol intake. Let's put this number up to 3,000 a year. And let's say you manage to squeeze in some more somewhere else and you get to the 3,000 a year that you can invest. Now all of a sudden you've invested 60,000 after 20 years and you've earned 88 on top. So you're standing on 148,000. This is at standard S&P 500 rates. That is basically a baseline. Don't put your money in a bank because you're looking at 0.5%.
Yeah,
So
not
you
worth it.
you would have made 3,000 over 20 years. It is absolutely not worth it. So if you go at standard stock markets 8%, you're looking at that. Now, if you look at Tesla, okay, Tesla
This is going to be surprising for
Tesla
people.
aims at 50% annual growth. Will they be able to keep it up for 20 years? Probably not. But at the moment, they're
No,
aiming for it. So let's average it out to, let's say, 30%. Would you say that?
that sounds realistic.
30%. Now watch that bottom number in the yellow. Same investment, same 3,000 a year. After 20 years, you will have invested £60,000 and you will have earned a total of 2.4 million on top of it.
That's
That
insane. I still look at it and like, wow. And I've been doing this for a few months now, so I shouldn't be surprised, but I still am every time I
I
look at it.
I cannot exclamate this enough to people how compounding interest can be so effective, but you need to find the right stocks to invest in, the right stocks that's going to beat the market and beat inflation. So 20 years down the line, 2.5 million is not going to be worth 2.5 million thanks to inflation. But if you can beat
No,
inflation, then you're making money. So let's say 20 years from now, 2.5 million is worth 1 million. That's still a million more than the 60,000 that you would have earned.
yeah, still earning good money there.
Exactly. Okay. So let's say you manage to get higher returns than that, which is rare, but it does happen. Let's go for the 50%.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Same investment, 3,000 a year, which I think most people will find that they could probably achieve that.
I don't know. That is, yeah,
If you manage to find an investment portfolio that you've designed for yourself that can average a 50% growth year on year, which is pretty much impossible. Tesla's probably the only company that has a chance of achieving that, and maybe only for 10 years, and then it will cut down. That's why I went with the 30%.
yeah, it just makes more sense.
Yes, but this is just your stock portfolio. Then you're talking about dividends. So you don't ever have to sell your stock. You could end up just starting living off of dividends, and your stock value just keeps going higher.
Yeah, and then that creates generational wealth.
Yes, and
That's your kids sorted and their kids sorted
ex-
if you plan it right.
exactly. And if you don't, you need to use all your dividends to live off. you reinvest your dividends, remaining dividends. And that then starts building more compounding interest. Because now instead of, let's say by the 10-year mark, you start making enough dividends that you can live off and let's say invest an extra 1,000 a year. What do you think is going to happen to these numbers? It's going to go mad. So we'll average it out to 3,500 because that accounts for the 1,000. Not quite because you're doubling the compound interest, but you gain an extra 300,000 at the end of the year. At the end of the 2 centuries. No? Decade. Yeah, decade.
2 decades. I was going to say centuries. Fucking hell, how long are you going to live?
I want to live forever.
Stick my brain in an Optimus, I'll be alright.
Exactly. Now I'm going to close that spreadsheet and just open another one. I want to quickly cover the dividend thing again.
Yeah, it's hard, especially people on minimum wage. I'm just trying to think. There's so many people out there that really struggle. Really, really struggle. And unfortunately, those are probably the people that will always struggle.
Yes. Yes, unfortunately. All right, so here we are at the dividend calculator for Tesla. This is just, we've covered the video about this, but I just wanted to add it into this one because I think it's definitely worth pointing it out again. Okay, so if you had been spending the 3,000 a year buying Tesla shares, by 2030, you probably won't have 100 shares. Let's say you've managed to buy it at the current rates. You would have spent £30,000 at the current rate of, geez, it dropped again, didn't it? It was like under
It's
160.
150 now.
150. Okay, let's go with 150.
It's 200 shares.
That's 200 shares, yeah. That's spot on. If you, let's say in 10 years' time, you've managed to buy 200 Tesla shares.
I'll be fairly happy if I'm sat on 200 Tesla shares.
I would be too. What is Tesla's earnings gonna be in that time? And what percentage are they gonna pay out? Let's go for a modest 2% payout of earnings because Apple pays 0.5% dividends. That's tiny considering how much profit they make. So let's go with 2%. Earnings, we worked it out last time on cars estimated 140 billion.
Mm-hmm.
And with Optimus at the time, we're looking at about another 100 billion. So let's call it 300 billion. There's 300 billion. At 2% dividends, you could be earning 35 grand a year in 10 years' time if you manage to have 200 shares. And that is just 2 of Tesla's divisions at that time.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be a lot bigger by then.
They will be a lot bigger there. I would reckon if Tesla is not at, I would say Tesla's probably at that point 1 trillion in profit by 2030.
Over £100,000 dividends a year. That's not bad.
That's at 2%. Some companies pay out. I found companies in, like, when you go for dividend-based companies, there's some companies that pay out almost 20%.
Jeez, like it.
Yes. Let's say you go, SMR reckons 25%, yeah? I don't see that happening, but just for laughs, let's put it in there.
Shits and giggles.
1.5 million pounds a year. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't see any way of that happening, but I reckon we're looking at 5%, which means you're looking at that in 10 years' time.
That's more than enough.
Now, let's say the prices have gone up because ARK estimates Tesla price will be about $2,400 in 2027, I mean. So
I was going to say,
you're going to struggle to buy your, 200 shares in 10 years' time if you only invest 300 a year. But let's say you manage to hit 100 shares. That's still a lot of money. I could retire on that.
depends on what's going to happen with inflation over the next couple of years, but we'll see how this whole thing plays out.
That's just my little spreadsheet warrior thing about why you should start. Just start. Because once you start getting to those dividend payments, investing more than your 3,000 a year becomes a heck of a lot easier.
Yeah.
a heck of a
And like
lot
we said
easier.
earlier, once you start investing, you seem to find money from places because you just start tracking your things a hell of a lot better.
Yeah,
Keeping tabs on absolutely everything.
yeah. No, it's facts. You do pay better attention. Um,
Well, you kind of have to because you put yourself in that frame of mind. Whereas, okay, now I have to think about the next 10 years. I'm not just living until I get my next paycheck.
exactly, exactly, and it makes a huge difference to your mindset. I'm gonna just manually edit some of these numbers instead of it going. Let's say for the next, we're 2023 now, yeah? 24,
Mm-hmm.
25, 26, 27. That's 27. At this point, you'll start buying less shares. Let's say yeah, you get to, if you do 3,000, that's going to be 20 shares, yeah? Let's say the
Mm-hmm.
price goes up and you manage to buy 15 shares and then 10 shares and then 5, then 2. Because this is where you hit like 2,000 a share. And maybe you manage to buy 2, maybe 1.5. Okay. That puts you at 52 shares if you keep on investing the same as you do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now you start getting your dividend payments. Let's say you've managed to invest in some other things, you start getting dividend payments there, and you're able to start investing more than your 3,000. So this year, so 15,000 plus, let's say you add 4,000. Let's say each year you add a bit more until you hit the 10-year mark, and then this Tesla starts paying dividends, and then you start putting in a lot more. So we make this one 19,000. Then we add 5,000, which brings us to 24,000. Then we add 6,000, so 30,000. Then that was 6,000, so then 7, so 37. And then 37 plus, what was the last one? 7, so 8.
Yeah, 37 plus 8.
Let's just round it up to 45.
45, yeah.
Okay.
That is 45. What do you mean round it up?
Oh, yeah, it is 45, never mind. Okay. Now you start earning your Tesla dividends, and now you'll be able to put in a lot more. So let's say you keep buying 3 shares a year because Tesla shares have gone that through the roof. I would like to get to that 100 figure, but we're not at 100, we're at 67. Let's make all of these 4s just to get to close to 75. Yeah, 72 is close enough. Now let's say you're able to add in an extra 20,000 the next year. And remember, Tesla's earnings are going to keep going up, so your, what's his name, is going to keep going up. Your dividend share. So now you're standing at 65,000. Now, let's say next year you add 30,000 in, now you're at 95. Yeah, it just keeps going on and on and on. Let's see if I can click and drag this if it realizes the math. Probably not. Let's say you manage to do that. Okay, it's not doing the rest of the math here. I don't know how I've done the spreadsheet. It's not working it out. I don't know. But this number would
Mm-hmm.
be a heck of a lot higher. I don't know what I've done wrong here.
Oh, if you look at the first one, really, no, I don't know why it's done that, to be honest.
Yeah. Ooh, no, that's not right. Yeah, I've messed up the spreadsheet. Don't save. Don't save. Anyway, we'll stop sharing that. But you can just imagine how you can start investing a heck of a lot more as you start, as your portfolio grows, as dividends starts growing, as you get the dividends add to your compounding interest. So your ability to add more in becomes so much more significant. Instead of the original, which was what, 60,000 invested, now you can in 1 year invest 300,000. And by that
Yeah.
time, your your dividends become even greater and your interest become even greater. And it's just like, yeah, the numbers are mind blowing.
Yeah. Basically, the earlier you start, doesn't matter how little, just start.
Just start. That's the motto of the video is just start. Start today, set up your accounts, put in 50 quid, put in 100 quid, buy maybe one share of the S&P 500 on one of the ETFs, buy a little bit of this, buy a little bit of that. Companies that you know, companies that you trust. We will obviously advocate for Tesla, but again, this is not investment advice.
No, not at all.
This is just what we've kind of done. And
Yeah. This disruptive technologies is a
yes,
must. You have to look into it.
yes. And then, even though about 90% of my portfolio is Tesla. That Tesla portfolio is spread over multiple accounts to diversify in case something happens to one of the companies that I've invested through. So diversify as best as you can to protect yourself.
Yeah, I'm still a bit guilty of that one.
I mean, I'm very guilty on being so heavily into Tesla, but I see the potential. I've crunched
Yeah,
the
and
numbers. I'm there.
I'm more guilty of just using one or two
I
platforms.
mean, you got your crypto investments, so you're already on 2 platforms.
Yeah, I've got crypto and I've got
Exactly.
obviously my normal stocks.
I've
And to be honest, again, not investment advice, but my opinion, those are two things you have to go for: Tesla and crypto, because that's the
yes.
way the world's going to go.
So I've got crypto in 3 different accounts, and I've got in Tesla in 3 different accounts, and yeah, my normal stocks are in 3 different accounts.
And I'm going to have to choose my wording very carefully here. But if you don't have a lot of money and you don't have £200 plus to invest in a share of something, there is another industry that's going to be booming in the next couple of months, couple of years even. And I am into that as well. How do I say this, Johan?
You're talking about cannabis.
I am. Now, those companies are not nearly as expensive as other things you can go and buy now.
Yes, most of them is
And
under £10 a share, and you can
it,
buy fractional shares.
yep, you can. There's a lot of things you can do. And if you don't have a lot of money and you're looking for a starting place, and your returns on that could surprise you within the next couple of months.
I'm on a different opinion on the timeline on that, but I'm also in the same type of things, and I believe that one day when they do happen, it will skyrocket.
It's going
And
to go medical first,
yes,
and once medical comes in, it's already game over. To
yes.
be honest,
I mean, the medical part is where the main gains are for it.
100%, yeah.
Yeah.
Because at this moment in time, these companies can't write off overheads and things like that because they can't get banking and this, that, and the other.
Yes.
There's loads of things, and this industry is not going away
No,
at all.
it's not going to go away. I don't see it happening. Yeah, there's there was a tweet yesterday that someone mentioned about cannabis, about how it kills this many people, this does this, so many deaths, so many injuries, so many whatever related each year. And then at the end he said, no, sorry, that is alcohol, which is not illegal. Cannabis
Yep.
hasn't killed anyone, not from
Yep.
consumption. Maybe in dealings, yes, because it's been criminalized. If you
No,
decriminalize it,
that's
there won't be any deaths related to it from the
no, it
dealing.
won't be a problem. It shouldn't be a problem,
Exactly.
to be honest.
But
The only reason it was, yeah.
think
Anyway,
about it. Have you ever heard of anyone dying from cannabis use?
no,
How many people
not at
have
all.
died from alcohol intake? How many people have died from smoking cigarettes?
How many people with massive health issues
Become better.
once they use CBD and they
Yes.
get into these sorts of products, all of a sudden they now actually have a life. I can't tell you of one person that alcohol has done that for them.
Nope. And yet alcohol is legal. So if governments
So
snap
yeah,
out of their little funk that they're in and realize that they could actually make an absolute fortune on the taxes on it if they just legalize
it's
it, and they would stop wasting money putting people in prison, going through all the court cases, because as soon as you're in prison, you're living off the government.
that's it. It's only going to cost you money.
It So yeah, instead of costing governments a ton of money to enforce the criminality of it, they could actually be making a ton of money. Maybe pay off some
Like,
of their debts.
it's a
That would
huge
be nice.
amount of money that's sat there.
Mm,
That and unfortunately, because it's not federally legal, the big companies can't get into them, or they won't get into them.
no,
But the moment that goes, it is gonna go ballistic.
yeah, yeah.
So,
So that's our opinion.
moral of that: if you don't have a lot of money to push into anything, there's smaller things as well that you can look at and you can start with.
Yes, we're
Just I don't know,
talking
look around you,
ten
look
pounds
what's
a
going on in
month.
the world, and Do a little bit of research.
Th-
There's definitely ways to make your money work for you instead of you working for your money.
Yes, which at the moment, unfortunately, we're both still working for money. But yeah, we're getting there.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Goes back to the thing. If I started this when I was 18, we would have been having a whole different conversation right about now. But
Oh
okay.
yeah. No, if we started this when we were 18, my gosh, we wasted a lot of money when we were that age.
Don't even.
We worked really hard and we had the stamina to do it. Now that we're older, we don't. I mean, we earned less than what we earn now, but we worked our bollocks off and we got
Earn less than we do now.
per
I
hour.
don't know. Okay, yeah, per hour. Okay, yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But yeah, 3 years worth of nights, 12-hour days. Trust me, bro. I've not earned money like that in a long time.
No, we earned some seriously high amounts per month, and we just went out clubbing. We were out every Tuesday night, every weekend, going to very expensive restaurants, trying to impress girls.
All the things you should not be doing
when you don't have money. Yeah, first build up your money, then impress people.
Then start looking at that thing.
Yeah,
I was watching somebody last night. Actually, it's if you're in your 20s and you are motivated and driven and you want to make $1 million, best things you could possibly do: don't drink, don't smoke, and stay away from women until you've made your first $1 million. Then crack on, do what you want to do. Because, like they say, to make your first 10,000 is hard. To make your first 100,000 is even harder. But to get from 100,000 to $1 million is actually easier than it is to get from 0 to 10,000.
Oh yes, oh yes, yeah. I mean, I'm close to the 10,000 in my investment portfolio.
Ouch!
What do you mean, ouch?
I'm not there yet.
I know. I started a little bit before you, but
You started years before me.
it takes a long time. I mean, that's why I'm saying the 3,000 a year, because that's roughly what I'm able to achieve at this point in time by cutting down on other things. I used to be a big computer gamer. I don't buy new games anymore.
No, I mean, it's stupid things, honestly. Like,
It's
instead of me going to the shop to go buy myself 4 beers when I get home at night, okay, I'm in a mood for a beer. Instead now, okay, we don't go do shopping at Tesco's and Sainsbury's and those places anymore because they are
expensive.
just more expensive than Aldi and Lidl. Plus, the food quality is actually worse.
It is. Yeah.
Mind blowing. But anyways, so we go and we do our weekly shop there, and then I run across the road to Tesco's, and £6 for 4 beers in the corner shop. If I go to Tesco's on my club card, I get 15 beers for £12. So there's my week's beer.
Yeah.
Now all I have to do is not drink all the beer at the same time.
Yes.
But again, a little bit of
don't go to the corner shop to buy beer when you can get it a lot cheaper elsewhere.
Go and shop from Tesco, and
it's like,
okay, just because you have 15 doesn't mean you have to drink 15. Have your 1 or 2, leave the rest.
Yeah.
But there's small ways that you can definitely save small amounts, and if you can save £5 a week on beer alone, that's 20 quid that you could put into something.
It means you can save more money elsewhere as well.
Yes.
And
it's a knock-on effect. The moment you don't drink as much, you then all of a sudden stop spending money on this and that and that. And before you know it, just because you're drinking, yes, just because you're drinking 2 beers less a day, now all of a sudden you're saving yourself 20 quid a day because of the other things that come along with that beer. Because now once you started drinking, you start smoking more.
Yes.
So now you're smoking 25 cigarettes instead of your 20.
Yeah.
Or whatever the case may be. But
and
yeah, accumulative interest works the other way as well. Stop doing things and your money will accumulate.
Yes. Even if you ignore the health benefits of cutting down on smoking and drinking, which is the 2 key things, even if you ignore that, think about the potential financial gain that we just demonstrated. Just think about that, because money is a great motivator.
Money is a very good motivator.
I've had other thoughts.
I've had loads of thoughts, and mine was actually, I was scared to invest, and then I started talking to you, doing a bit more research. Then all of a sudden I had to look at my pension, and I started working things out, and I realized, well, hang on, When I turn 65, I ain't getting much.
No, no, no.
And I think that was the main eye opener for me.
Yes. Yeah, and you say you were scared to invest. I started researching into investing just before C19 happened. And I was watching Meet Kevin, which I've now stopped watching. Sorry, Meet Kevin, but most of your videos are now just negative based and very clickbaity. Like most of the videos are now, oh, this is happening, blah, blah, blah. He's a good investor, don't get me wrong, but he's a trader, not really an investor.
Yeah, I don't gamble, mate.
But I watched it a long time. Him and Stephen Graham, I watched for probably a year before I felt comfortable that I was ready to start investing. And the bad thing about it is, I wanted to set up an account with a reputable firm so I could start investing, and I did. It took a long time to get it set up, took a long time to get verified, and their fees are astronomical. So that
That's
would be a
crazy.
bit of advice. Don't do it. I still have stuff with them. I'm not moving anything in or out because I'll just let it build up, and then eventually one day when I retire, I'll pull it out.
Don't get me wrong. If your account is worth millions, by all means, hand it over
Yes.
to somebody. Let them look after it for you, because you're not really going to miss the money that they're going to charge you, to be honest, because you've got enough money. But when you start, no,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say an investment company is the way to go, because
Well,
one, you don't actually know what you're doing. So you're effectively just trusting somebody else with your money.
no, that's
At
not
least if you
what I
start
did.
by yourself, then you've got a fairly good idea of what's going on
Yes, and
and
you
how to approach
can
it.
only hold yourself accountable.
Yes.
So yeah, no, that's not the type of account I created with them, but they do not do fractional shares, and they charge you £12 per transaction.
Wow.
Yes. Wow, indeed. So by the time I had my thing set up with them and got the money deposited, from the time I decided that I actually want to start investing, Tesla was trading at about $350, $400 a share. This was now, was this now before the
That
3 to
would
1
have been before
split?
the, yeah, it would have been before the split, that
Yeah, it
one.
was before the 3 to 1 split. And this was just before Tesla was about to be included in the S&P 500. Before that, I'd spent a year researching, deciding what I wanted to do, where I wanted to invest and all that. When I finally had my account set up, Tesla share price shot up to $850 a share. So I missed out on a massive gain because I was hesitant. And then I started buying at that price, all the way up to 1200 a share. I was buying. And then they did a 3 to 1 split, which brought us down to 400. And then it dropped down now to 150. And I'm still buying. My overall buying price for the shares that I currently own is $240 a share. So per share that I have, I'm down $90. And I'm happy because it means
Oh,
now I
yeah.
can buy more
Yes.
shares. The longer
Yeah.
Tesla stays down, the happier I am.
Cheaper it is, the better for me, to be
Yes,
honest.
yes. So,
You know, I think my buying in price is sitting at 160 something at the moment.
so yours is slightly down, but yeah, it's good.
I'm down. I
So,
think, yeah, because of the last couple of weeks, I'm down a couple of $100
yeah,
all up altogether in my normal trading account. But again, like I said, my crypto account, because the normal markets have gone down, crypto's gone, yo.
yes. So, yeah, again, that's the gist of the video is just start. You will regret every moment that you delayed in starting.
Definitely.
And I think
So
that's
much
where we
so
should
that the
wrap
day
up.
my daughter turns 16, I'm going to start teaching her how investment works.
Yes, absolutely.
I had this conversation. She got home yesterday with some flipping homework. It's like Chinese music. It's like, okay, what exactly do you accomplish from learning this? Oh no, I don't know. This is just this is our next thing that we have to do for school. Like, are you for real? When are
Chinese
you ever going to
music.
use that? Yeah, it's a Chinese song. I may buy you something. It's like, okay, why? Please tell me. I just want one teacher to tell me, why are they teaching my kids that? Don't get me wrong, I've got nothing against Chinese or anything like that. Languages, whatever, not a problem. But there are much more important things going on in the world that kids need to know about.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
It's like that thing where they say, what are we going to teach people for 12? Well, what are we going to teach kids for 12 hours a day for 12 years running? Teach them everything about nothing. So they come out of school not knowing what to do with their lives.
Yeah, and they
It's
don't know how to
ridiculous.
run their finances.
Not a clue.
No.
Not a Scooby. And I'm definitely going to teach my kids. My parents didn't know better. So I wasn't taught better, but I'm trying to break the chains.
Yeah.
Go a different way.
Yeah. All right, shall we wrap it
And
up?
unfortunately, investing is the only way you are going to be able to accomplish that. Because working for money, you'll never get rich.
Yes, exactly.
It's not even about getting rich. Working for
No,
money, you'll never be, I don't know, you don't have to be rich, just cash free, choice free, whatever, however you want to say it.
financially independent.
There we go. Thank you.
So they say money don't buy happiness, but I can promise you, if you're financially dependent and you don't have to work a 9 to 5 where you report to someone, you will be a hell of a lot happier with your life than someone who does.
Most definitely.
Yeah,
That's just the way it works.
it
And
is.
I was asleep for way too long.
Yes. All right, Ash.
Don't make the same mistakes I did. It's not a financial advice. Do your own research, do what you need to do.
Yeah,
But yeah, don't make the same mistakes as I did.
wake up and start.
Yes.
Yes. You done?
I think so. I can carry on ranting about this for
We
ages.
could, but the video's getting very long.
Well, I said this was supposed to be a short one, but yeah.
Good topic.
Yeah, I don't need to prepare for this one. I can just keep talking.
Yeah. Well, I didn't prepare much, just the spreadsheets.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in, and sorry for the long rant, and we'll see you next time.
Stay safe. Careful what you do. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.